Welcome back to My Dad Watches The Bachelor. I'm Meredith, and I'm here with my co-host, my dad.
Hello, Meredith. Good to see you today.
It's good to see you as well. I've spent my night last night reading the bios of 32 men, so I'm excited to discuss them.
Well, it was more of a 2-day extravaganza for me. I couldn't do it all at one time, so I spread it out over 2 days. A wonderful way to spend the 4th of July holiday.
Yeah, I mean, what better way is there than looking at hot men and reading dumb facts about them?
It's not really at the top of my list, but we're dedicated professionals. That's what we do for our audience out there.
Yeah, so if you've listened to us before, we have a pretty set structure on how we make our picks. We've had to deviate from it a little bit because we don't actually understand the structure of the show this season with 2 bachelorettes. So as a group, we decided we're going to make final 4 picks total, as in 4 guys that we think Gabby and Rachel could be picking. And then we're picking 1 winner for each Gabby and Rachel, 1 first impression rose for each Gabby and Rachel, and 1 season villain.
So Uncle Dave was over. We had him and his wife over to barbecue this weekend over the 4th. He was telling me that it was his understanding, not that he is an expert in this subject, that the guys would have to select which girl they're interested in at some point in time. Have you heard anything to this effect?
I have not, but I mean, that would make sense. I hope that, once we get to hometown dates, there's not a guy that both Gabby and Rachel are still interested in.
I just wonder when that selection process would occur. And they're like 32 people. What if like 25 of them say, hey, I prefer Rachel, and Gabby, you're left with these 7 schlubs. That would not be good for Gabby.
I do imagine that if that happens, it would take place maybe like episode 3 or 4, when you have time to like get to know people. Those connections are made. You have some obvious Gabby guys, some obvious Rachel guys, and then some guys that neither of the girls care about.
Okay. Well, we're in new territory here, so we're trying to figure it out. But I guess our job is to go through these eligible bachelors and to make our picks to figure out which ones we think will be there in the end, and so on and so forth. So I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, let's get into it. Our first bachelor is Alec. He is 27 years old. He's a wedding photographer from Houston, Texas. He's a self-proclaimed quote-unquote lover boy and loves to be the center of attention. Nothing makes him happier than a fresh haircut. He once worked as a DJ at a roller rink, and if he could travel back in time, he would go to the 1800s and be an outlaw cowboy.
I got to respect the outlaw cowboy thing. The only thing that jumped out at me there, when someone says they want to be the center of attention, I wonder, might it be a first impression rose candidate? Don't know. But
might it be a villain candidate?
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but nothing jumped there for me.
Yeah, I had very few thoughts on him, but I don't really see either woman going for someone who loves to be the center of attention.
Yeah. Okay.
Next we have Avon. He's 28, a sales executive from San Diego, California. He loves to travel, values quality time, enjoys slow dancing, allows himself to eat out only once a week, is a Yahtzee champ, and describes his gameplay as intense, which I have issues with the Yahtzee and intense gameplay of Yahtzee. My brother is always trying to get us to play Yahtzee as a family, which is a pretty lame game in and of itself. But if someone gets intense about Yahtzee, then I feel like they could be like a little bit too much for me in general. It's not a game you get intense about.
I'm fine with Yahtzee. I don't think it really qualifies as a particularly challenging game. We can play checkers as well. So again, seems fine, but nothing there grabbed me as saying this guy struck me as being a candidate for the Final Four or anything.
I thought he seemed pretty normal. Like, I thought he could be a good match for Rachel. He likes to travel, seems healthy and good looking.
it seems like a prerequisite for being on the show is healthy and good looking. It's not like we've come across a lot of unattractive, obese people that end up on the show.
There's some questionable looks in these men.
All right. Well, let's move. We got 32 to go, so let's keep moving.
We have Brandon, 23-year-old bartender from Carlsbad, California, former college athlete. Although I could not find any info on his college athlete years in my research, but per his LinkedIn, went to the University of Delaware. He's terrified of slugs, loves to go to the batting cages, loves Disneyland, and goes every year on his birthday, which is a red flag to me. Disney adults are a major no-go. I think I've stated this before. It's fine to go on vacation once in a while, but more than that, hard pass.
Well, and Brandon is 23 years old, which struck me as being a little bit young for ready to settle down. I question whether there might be some maturity issues. I did put down though, bartenders have game. Yeah, if you're a bartender, you're probably pretty good at socializing, chit chatting. I could see him hanging around for a while, but I don't see him as a contender in the end.
Yeah, there's no chance Gabby's going for him, but even with Rachel, I feel like there's probably some maturity differences between a bartender who's a Disney adult and a pilot.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Chris, 30 years old. He's a mentality coach from Redondo Beach, California. He loves mangoes. He's also written 2 books and says he is his own favorite author. So, within my research, the 2 books he's written. The first, The Way, a Hawaiian story of growth, relationships, and volleyball. The second, Become Your Best, mastering confidence through 6 phases of quotes and notes. Also, when asked what Chris fears in life, he says, quote, I don't choose fear.
Yeah, he's the sort of guy you would hate to get stuck next to on the airplane, don't you think?
Yeah, I already hate Chris.
Hate's a strong word, but I don't think I would want to hang with Chris. I put down a bit of hubris, arrogance there. I think he could be very irritating.
Yeah, first, I don't think anyone chooses fear. It's not something you can just decide not to feel, so I think it's pretty cocky thing to say that he doesn't choose fear. Second, I guess you should be your own biggest fan, but at the same time, it's good to be humble and know you probably aren't as good of an author as, say, like a Tolkien, a J.K. Rowling. Like, let's be realistic here, Chris.
And I guess I'm not familiar with a mentality coach, but he is in California, and things are different out there.
Yeah, it kind of like puts me in the same thought process as a motivational speaker, which have historically not done well on this show.
Agreed.
All right, next we have Colin, 36-year-old sales director from Chicago, Illinois. He would love to visit the International Space Station. People who chew with their mouth open make him cringe, and he was a founding member of his high school's breakdancing club.
Sort of a little bit of a red flag to me that he's trends a little older than most of the folks here, and Gabby is 31. Rachel, I think you said, is 26, and Chris is 36. Could be a little, maybe a little older in relation to some of the others. So I don't think so for Colin.
Also, if you look at his bio picture, he definitely needs a haircut. He looks like he's trying to be like a 22-year-old lacrosse bro.
Okay.
Next, we have Eric. He's a 29-year-old real estate analyst from Bedminster, New Jersey. He describes himself as low-key, funny, outdoorsy, and a bit mysterious with a fun side. He has no interest in going to an escape room because he hates fun. He likes his wine both red and white, and dreams of seeing the Northern Lights in person.
I have to say I was intrigued by Eric. I like low-key, bit mysterious with a fun side, is what he said. I didn't read where it said he has no interest in fun just because he doesn't like escape rooms.
Oh, I might have been ad-libbing a bit there.
Okay, so I don't know. I saw Eric as a contender.
I saw potential in him as well. Like something about his bio made me think he could connect with Gabby. Plus, he looks pretty handsome.
So anyway, yeah, I sort of liked him. So anyway, he's sort of on my short list.
Next, we have Ethan, 27-year-old advertising executive from New York, New York. He's a self-proclaimed king of Monopoly. His perfect breakfast is pancakes and hash browns, extra crispy, and watching Entourage cheers him up when he's down.
Yeah, he seemed fine, but he didn't seem to stand out to me. You know, he seems like a nice fellow. I enjoyed Entourage. I think I'm more of the Office kind of cheer up guy myself, but Entourage was fun. But anyway, yeah, didn't move me there.
Yeah, I had no big thoughts on our man Ethan.
Okay.
Next, we have Hayden. He is a 29-year-old leisure executive from Tampa, Florida. He loves baked potatoes, likes to end his day with a dip in the hot tub, and loves country music and would thrive at Stagecoach.
Hayden is what is calling himself a leisure executive. I'm not 100% sure what a leisure executive is. Is it
I have no
someone?
idea, but it sounds nice.
There have been times when I've wondered whether you're a leisure executive.
I am an accountant, much different.
You okay, but you find time for leisure. I don't know if there are any professional certifications one must get to become a leisure executive, but the one thing that sort of stuck out to me, you know, he seems like a nice guy. Enjoys planning romantic dates, which seems must love dogs. Those sort of things play well on the show. He's from Tampa, Florida. Rachel is also from Florida. Am I correct? So
That is
I'm just
correct.
wondering if there's some Florida connection there. So yeah, just some thoughts. Don't know. We'll
I
see.
could see him going well with Rachel. I did make the Florida connection. I do think that she could be into like a plain old Southern gentleman.
So anyway, I don't think he's there in the end, but those were, maybe, who knows.
Okay. Next, we have Jacob, 27-year-old mortgage broker from Scottsdale, Arizona. He enjoys working out and specifically put in his bio that he wants a woman who wants to maintain a healthy lifestyle. He reads 30 to 40 books per year, loves to camp in national parks, and doesn't eat cake. So I get bad vibes from him. Way too healthy. You don't eat cake, and you've specifically stated you want a woman that maintains a healthy lifestyle. I feel like he's very shallow.
Well, he reads 30 to 40 books a year, Meredith. Come
I'm not
on.
impressed. I'm not impressed. My Goodreads is already over 40 for the year, and we've just hit July.
Question: do they let you bring books? I mean, they seem to cut you off from
I don't
everything.
I don't believe you're allowed to bring books.
You can't bring books. That's awful.
Yeah, well, if you're just reading in the corner, you're not providing a lot of drama or entertainment.
So basically, you get to hang out with the bros. You get to work. They'll
I
give you
mean,
plenty of workout equipment to take pictures of you, in your tank top or without a tank top, and you can dip in the pool. But that's about it. This sounds like prison. But go ahead.
but it's prison on TV.
Okay, let's move
Next, we
on.
have James, 25-year-old meatball enthusiast from Winnetka, Illinois. Comes from a big Italian family, so I'm assuming that's where his meatball enthusiasm originates. He wants 6 kids. He's a huge LeBron James fan and loves to water ski.
So, a couple things. He his bio says that he's a charmer with dimples, and if you look at his picture, you can see those dimples, and he looks like a handsome guy. I mean, they all look like handsome guys. Um, I wonder if he might be a first impression rose candidate. I also wondered if he has a job, which to me is sort of a red flag there. I'm not sure one can make a living just as a meatball enthusiast.
My read on this is that he will be getting friend zoned very quickly.
Okay, well, why do you say that?
He just looks like the type of guy that gets friend zoned.
Okay, I mean, he's got dimples. He looks like a handsome, cute guy.
I mean, dimples are not that great. And his just aesthetic is like a guy that like might stay around for a while, but it's because Gabby or Rachel really enjoy spending time with him as a friend. and he
Okay.
wouldn't really threaten like the real connections.
Okay. Okay.
Next is Jason, 30-year-old investment banker from Santa Monica, California. He's never the loudest guy in the room, yet somehow has an undeniable presence about him. He loves to tour historical homes. He hates Coca-Cola, and his favorite pastime is stargazing.
Yeah, when they say that someone has an undeniable presence, that sort of intrigues me a little bit, or maybe they're just being nice because they don't have anything else to say about the poor guy. I don't know. Seems like a nice guy, but nothing pushed me over the top on him.
I think that he's the kind of guy that will either get looked over and sent home night one, or could be like a dark horse to make it far.
I would go along with you on that.
All right, next we have Joey, 24-year-old twin from Brookfield, Connecticut. Yes, his job description is twin. Nothing makes Joey happier than winning, which I think is a red flag. It's like when you're on the dating apps and a guy says he's overly competitive about everything. We don't need that. If he could, he lives off cheeseburgers and he loves go-karting. This guy is way too young for Gabby, and I think Rachel will think he's immature. And I just don't see twins lasting past like 3 episodes.
So, a little spoiler alert for me. The whole twin thing to me is a very suspicious thing, and I sort of put the twins as potential villains just because there could be a lot of shenanigans going on with twins.
Ooh, I like that.
So
they're identical. You could blame it on the one twin, and they could be in 2 places at once.
We could say this twin's going home, but the other twin said, I'm going to go home, and that twin is staying. Who knows? I mean, just a lot of potential shenanigans there.
I like that. We could like have a parent trap moment on the dates.
Whatever
See if
that.
Gabby and Rachel know who they're kissing.
Yeah. So anyway, that concerns me.
Okay. Next we have John, 26-year-old English teacher from Nashville, Tennessee. He enjoys dressing up so much that sometimes he puts on a suit to go grocery shopping. He loves to be the face of a big clothing brand, and he loves Mexican food.
I think when you're dressing up to go grocery shopping, that's problematic.
Yeah, I don't think he and I would get along. I also see John being friend zoned very quickly. Just like his face in his picture and just like the dressing up to go grocery shopping. Like I don't see him as being a real contender.
It also says he's shy at first. I wonder if he'll last the first night.
Probably not. Next, we have Johnny, 25-year-old realtor from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. His childhood dream was to be a rapper. He loves to make corny jokes, and he loves fishing.
Now, when I looked at Johnny's picture, it struck me as he sort of looks like a villain. Now, when he looked a little villainous to me. When I read his bio, not as villainous. He wants a woman who is intelligent, athletic, and has good hygiene. I don't. Do you really have to put that out there? I mean, I think we all. I sort of assume we all prefer people with good hygiene. I'm not sure that's something that I would put out there as one of my major things.
Yeah, I think we all prefer it, but it's not always a given that you'll receive it.
I've heard that from some people. He likes musically. He wants someone that likes Barry White and Frank Sinatra, which I appreciate. I'm not sure you know who Barry White is. I suspect you know who Frank Sinatra is.
Yes.
So anyway, but you should check out Barry White. It's good stuff.
I think I'll stick to Taylor Swift, but thanks for the recommendation.
Okay.
I can't put my finger on it, but Johnny gives me major F-boy vibes.
Okay, well, to me, his picture, I don't like his picture. He looks suspicious.
That's why I'm getting the F-boy vibes.
He looks troublesome. It could be trouble.
All right, next we have Jordan H., 25-year-old software developer from Tampa, Florida. He's an adrenaline junkie, an amateur dirt bike racer. The 4th of July is his favorite holiday, and he loves Florida but hates Florida drivers.
He also likes to give random flowers, which ups the bar for a lot of us. But I would think that could play well on this show got a
I
Florida.
think that's a lie as well. It's like something that
He's got
people
a
say.
Florida connection. He seems like he looks like a good-looking guy. I was sort of intrigued by him.
Yeah, I could see him connecting with Rachel. Florida things in common. She's adventurous enough to be a pilot, so they could click well. He is good looking. Like, he's on my short list.
So,
Next, we have Jordan V, 27-year-old drag racer, which is not like drag race with RuPaul where men dress up as women, just
see,
so everyone knows.
my mind immediately goes to car drag racing, and unlike yours. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
mine did not go there at all. He's
Okay.
from Alpharetta, Georgia, loves sweet tea, says the most romantic gift you can give is a handwritten letter, and describes his middle school haircut as the Justin Bieber, which I love.
But his picture, he looks like he's 12. He looks too young to me. So I mean, he's 27, but
Yeah,
he looks young.
he looks very young in this picture.
So I mean, that's fine. But I just didn't didn't grab me there.
Yeah, I tried to look up some drag racing stats, but didn't actually understand anything I was reading, so I also don't have much to give there.
Okay.
Next, we have Justin B., 32-year-old physical therapist from Solana Beach, California. Coffee shops are his happy place. He loves the smell of jasmine and dreams of traveling the U.S. in a van.
Yeah, he says all about creating memories in life's little moments, which is nice. Once someone open-minded, all good. I mean, whatever. Didn't seems nice.
Very, very middle of the road.
Didn't grab me.
Next, we have Justin Y., 24-year-old other twin from Brookfield, Connecticut. Wants to learn how to salsa dance, loves the Lakers. If he could live in any other decade, he would choose the early 90s.
Do you think he meant the 1990s or the 1890s, or what do you think?
I'm assuming 1990s. If he's 24, he was born in what, like 97, 98?
Yeah.
So he missed all the early 90s.
I was around for that. It was fine. I don't I don't know. I'm not sure if I could pick any time to live that would be that time, but okay.
Well, for Justin Y., it's very vintage,
Okay.
historical.
Okay.
He seems too young to me.
Well, he's about the same age as the other twin, but I wrote down looks like the better twin,
Agreed.
but the twins could still both be villains. I put down. He says he wants to be the life of the party, enjoys clubbing with his twin. Again, the twins make me suspicious.
Yeah, I think they'll be on for a few episodes, and then they're going to go back to the New York party scene and just thrive as, like, Bachelor contestants and get lots of ladies.
Okay.
Next, we have Kirk, 29-year-old college football coach. His LinkedIn told me it's an assistant football coach at Texas Tech University. He's from Lubbock, Texas, loves golf, but isn't very good at it, never wears white while eating spaghetti, and he'd love to visit Santorini one day.
That's Lubbock, not Lubbock. Lubbock, Texas.
Okay, well, sorry to the Texans of our fan base. I apologize.
All right. I think Uncle Cam might have something to say to you, but and he I think he's the one that said he wants a woman that's going to understand his football schedule, that he's working 7 days a week, and expects her to hold down the fort. Didn't seem like to be the good opener for me. For 4 months, 5 months of the year, I'm tied up 7 days a week, but don't worry, you can hold down the fort. So, didn't seem to be the guy that I thought would be a winner. The fact that he's a coach, maybe he's got some leadership skills, maybe he'll stand out for a bit, but I can't see him being there at the end.
Yeah, I didn't have many thoughts on him. Next, we have Logan, 26-year-old videographer from San Diego, California. His lifelong crush is Elaine from Seinfeld. He isn't afraid to skinny dip, and he loves corn dogs.
I like Elaine, but I never really saw her as a crush type person.
I've never seen Seinfeld.
Well, that's a problem. That's poor parenting on my part. But again, looks fine. Didn't really grab me. I mean, some good things there of witty, self-aware, and goofy, which could play well. I don't know, but didn't get over the hump for me.
Yeah, I've got no thoughts on Logan.
Okay.
Next, we have Mario, 31-year-old personal trainer from Naperville, Illinois. He is a Tetris superstar, loves tulips, and likes to end his day listening to 90s R&B.
For some reason, I liked him. He said ball of energy who lights up the room, which made me think first rose potential.
He's got a very nice smile as well.
Yeah, like handsome guy, big smile. So I was intrigued with Mario.
I could see some potential here for Gabby.
I agree.
Next, we have Matt, 25-year-old shipping executive from San Diego, California, owns his own business, has a pet betta fish named Tony, which is a red flag for me. Grown men don't need to have fish. Would rather vibe than dance to good music. That's red flag. If anyone just says that sentence, it's weird. Would rather vibe than dance.
What does that mean?
I think it just means like sit and like bob your head. I don't know.
Like a dad chair dance sort of situation.
Yeah, it's not like that sentence just doesn't need to be spoken or written.
Okay.
Dreams of buying his mom a home wherever she wants.
Yeah, and he says that he's now that he's built his empire. He's 25 years old and he's built his empire. That's, I don't know. Again, sort of struck me as maybe a little bit on the arrogant side. I don't know. If you've built your empire, what are you waiting for? Buy the mom a home. What's going on there?
Yeah, I thought this guy had a lot of potential. He has like a nice, welcoming smile, being a business owner. I really wanted to like him, but there's too many red flags, and he talks about his mom too much in his bio.
Well, I think guys can talk about their moms. I'm okay with that.
That doesn't need to be a prominent first conversation topic.
No, not first, but you got to get there.
But okay. This is our first impression of him, and he talks about his mom multiple times.
Okay.
Next, we have Michael, 32-year-old pharmaceutical salesman from Long Beach, California. Parents love him. He's not afraid to admit that he's a bad cook, and he loves Harry Potter and wants to visit his wizarding world. I have an issue. Wants to visit his wizarding world. What does that mean? Whoever wrote this doesn't know Harry Potter. There's only one wizarding world. Everyone doesn't have their own.
I guess I read it as he wanted to visit Harry Potter's wizarding world. I don't know. I figured he just want to go to Universal Studios or wherever the Harry Potter stuff is.
I read it as Michael wants to visit Michael's wizarding world.
Okay. Well.
But the Harry Potter thing makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Michael was okay. I sort of liked Michael. I think for some reason I thought maybe he might connect with Rachel. He leads with logic over emotion. Trusts his intuition. I don't know. Seemed okay to me.
Middle of the road for me.
Okay.
Nate, 33-year-old electrical engineer from Chicago, Illinois. His favorite movie is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, enjoys an occasional gas station icy, and doesn't do mosh pits.
He's looking for a woman who is kind, adventurous, smart, and ready for her family. Weakness for a woman who can make him laugh. I like Nate. When I saw his picture and I saw he's got big hair. I didn't think I was going to like Nate, but I read it and I like Nate, and I see Nate as a potential contender. I guess maybe I prefer humble and hardworking, but I'm not going to be the one dating Nate. But I like those characteristics.
Something draws me to Nate as well. I like his fun facts. They're normal. Electrical engineer is impressive. Like, he's a good age. I like him.
Yeah, I liked him too. Okay.
Next, we have Quincy, 25-year-old life coach from Miami, Florida. Loves high vibration music. Admits he's a bad texter. Could watch Space Jam on repeat and never get bored.
So what is high vibration music? I'm sure I would hate it, but what is it?
I'm guessing something that has a lot of bass in it.
Yeah, I don't think I would enjoy much of that after maybe 2 minutes. And I'm wondering which Space Jam do you think he would like, the LeBron one or the classic Michael Jordan one?
I guess the classic. I've only watched a bit of the LeBron one, but I haven't heard good things about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's yeah. Obviously I prefer the Michael Jordan version. Not that I've seen the other, but anyway. All
So
right.
I don't
Um,
feel good about Quincy being a life coach and doing well on the show, but he could be like a good schmoozer towards the beginning of the show.
yeah, I'm not. I don't know if I see Quincy staying around too long.
Next, we have Robbie, 33-year-old magician from Los Angeles, California. He's an advanced scuba diver, went all through elementary and high school only learning French, and wants to live in a home with secret rooms and hidden tunnels in it. This is an absolute no for me. There's not a single ounce of me interested in being on a date with a magician who wants a home with secret rooms and hidden tunnels and like doing little magic tricks and for like pulling a flower out of his like sleeve. Never.
But don't you think he might make some sort of first impression?
I think he will have a cringy magic trick as part of his limo entrance.
Well, I tagged him as a potential villain because let me tell you, I've watched plenty of Scooby Doo cartoons, and the magician is always the criminal. He's always the villain. So, immediately my antenna went up and said, "Magician, potential villain."
I like how we're applying the Scooby Doo knowledge to Bachelorette now.
I've got a lot of Scooby Doo knowledge.
Next, we have Ryan, 36-year-old investment director from Boston, Massachusetts. He's a proud Botox enthusiast. He hopes to open his own dog and rescue shelter someday, and he loves pineapple.
So again, Ryan is 36, which in dad years is pretty damn young. In bachelor years is pretty old. Um, so I worry about that. The fact that he's an outspoken Botox enthusiast, that's fine. He also talked about Nicholas Sparks type relationships, which for me is like I don't need to read any further. Not going with Ryan.
Yeah, his bio makes him seem like he's just trying to say things that he thinks women want to hear, like Nicholas Sparks kissing in the rain, blah, blah, blah. He seems terrible.
Excuse me while I take a Botox shot before we kiss.
Next, we have Spencer, 27-year-old venture capitalist from Chicago, Illinois. Nothing makes Spencer happier than seeing the Detroit Lions win. He gets a lot of compliments on his eyebrows and thinks EDM is ridiculous. The Lions are pretty bad, right?
Yeah, he must not be very happy very often if he's a Lions fan. Although it looks like they could be better this year. Thinks EDM is ridiculous. I read that and I had to Google EDM, and the first thing that came up was electrical discharge machining, which I also think is ridiculous. But then I think if I scroll down a bit more, maybe there's some sort of music involved with EDM.
Electric dance music?
Okay, well, it's not electrical discharge machining.
No. Oh,
Okay,
I mean, I assume that's not what he was referring to. I think that you would think EDM is ridiculous as well.
I think you're right.
I liked Spencer. I could see some ladies showing interest in him. He's good looking, seems to have a good head on his shoulders. I like him.
You can have him.
Okay. Next, we have Tremaine, 28-year-old crypto guy from Naperville, Illinois, loves double dates, would love to snuggle with a baby cheetah, and doesn't like sweets. Crypto guy is a hard no for me. I don't feel like I should need to elaborate.
I guess the thought that went through my head, from what we've discussed, from what I've learned about the show, he doesn't have his phone. I assume he has limited access to news. If this guy went into Bachelor World for like 3 months early beginning of this year, crypto went down significantly
He
when he
doesn't know
came
how much
out.
money he's lost.
I know he's gonna be a pretty upset crypto guy when he comes out of this thing. So I feel for the crypto guy, but like you, my fatherly advice would be to avoid anyone who says that he's the crypto guy.
Yeah, anyone that makes crypto and NFTs their personality, stay away from me.
Yeah, yeah. That makes me feel good.
Next, we have Tino, 27-year-old general contractor from Playa del Rey, California. He enjoys reading the Wall Street Journal, says 90% of what he eats is meat, and dreams of surfing in Bali.
Yeah, I wondered that why a guy that is a big Wall Street Journal guy might want to be on this show. Doesn't seem to be a fit there. I mean, I'm a big carnivore myself, but Tino, you wait till you get older. You're not going to be able to eat as much meat as you'd like there, so you're going to have to slow down on the meat. Not a lot there for me.
Oh, I really like Tino. I got good vibes from him. He's very handsome, normal. Like, I see a lot of potential there. Maybe it's just because he reads the Wall Street Journal.
Do you read the Wall Street Journal?
No, but I feel like these people aren't very informed, so it's impressive when someone does.
Okay.
Next, we have Tyler, 25-year-old small business owner from Wildwood, New Jersey. He dreams of visiting every park in the MLB, likes country music he can dance to, and is not a good multitasker.
And his bio says, I think it called him an Italian stallion and not afraid to be over the top.
Gross.
Looking for someone who is fun, reliable, open-minded. I thought he seemed interesting to me. Maybe with Rachel, don't know.
All right, next we have Zach, 25-year-old tech executive from Anaheim Hills, California. He'd love to be Spider-Man for a day, doesn't like breakfast because eggs don't agree with him, loves beach volleyball, and is a master of the Top Gun high five.
Old-fashioned, romantic, handsome guy. I sort of like Zach.
I like Zach too.
He's on my short list.
I agree. Zach is also our last contestant. We've made it through all 32.
I think in record time at that.
Well, we've still got to make more picks than ever. So Let's get into it. Should we start with our first impression, Rose?
I guess we have to start with our first impression, Rose. And, and I texted you last night because I know that at one point you had told me that I think the Bachelors, or when their ladies are choosing, usually the person they give the first rose to will end up in the final four. I think you said that. So I was trying to take that into account. And for one of them, I did. So
that's true. I decided to go completely against the logic there, the stats, because this is a whole new ball game, and I think things could get crazy. So no one I picked for first impression roses are in my top four.
All right. So here's my first impression rose. I'm going to give you Gabby first.
Okay, hit me with it.
I'm going to say that Mario, and I'm going back to figure out which one Mario was.
31-year-old personal trainer, loves Tetris and tulips.
Yeah, and he got a nice smile. I think we both agreed on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm choosing Mario as my first impression rose for Gabby.
I like Mario. I chose Nate, the electrical engineer, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, doesn't do mosh pits, that we both liked as well.
Okay. I liked him as well.
Okay, who'd you pick for Rachel?
All right, you're not going to like what I did for Rachel.
Better not be the magician.
Definitely not the magician, no. But almost as good. I'm going with the dimples. I'm going with James, the meatball enthusiast, for the first impression rose. And I don't think he's going to be there in the end, but I'm going off the thing there, and that's what I'm going for first impression for Rachel.
Okay, I picked Spencer, 27-year-old venture capitalist that gets happy when the Lions win. I think he's handsome and seems normal. Like, maybe his eyebrows are gonna stand out. He gets a lot of compliments on those. Rachel could be drawn to them.
Do you compliment gentlemen on their eyebrows or notice such things?
I don't know if a gentleman's given me a reason to compliment him on his eyebrows before.
No, I guess that's fair. I can't say that I've ever spent a lot of time worrying about my eyebrows.
Okay. Should we do villains? I feel like you have a lot of potential villain picks.
I I do. I mean, I've got four potential villains. You know, the two twins,
Mm-hmm.
Joey and Justin, Robbie the magician, and Termaine the crypto guy. To me, any of those people could be villains.
None of those are my villain pick.
So, am I allowed to just take the twins as my villain? Because I'd like to just go with the twins.
I'll allow it.
Okay, I mean, I think Joey is more villainous than Justin, but I'd like to take the twins as my villains.
I like this a lot. I think that if it's true, it could be so good.
Or so, which means it could be really bad, but I guess you mean good for drama and good for TV.
Yeah, good for our viewing pleasure.
Yes.
My villain is Chris, the author, who is his own favorite author and doesn't choose fear.
I could see Chris, the arrogant author, turning into a real irritating, pain in the butt villain as well. So I think that's a fair choice. But there was just a lot to choose from on the villain list this year. I mean, it was hard for me not to go with Robbie the magician, and anyone that calls him Crypto Guy also to me seems rather villainous.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go with Crypto Guy. I have heard from people that know him outside of the show that he's a nice guy.
Well, you can be a nice guy, but that's you're in dangerous territory there, and Crypto Guy might be broke now, so you know he could be dangerous.
All right, top 4 time. Hit me with your first top 4.
Okay. Well, on one of my first impression roses, I'm putting in the top 4 Mario. I'm putting Mario in the top 4.
Okay.
You want me to keep going, or are you going to give me one of yours?
I'll go. I picked Avon, 28-year-old sales exec from San Diego, the Yahtzee champ. Something's drawing to me. It's just a gut feeling. You know, he likes to travel. Rachel likes to travel. I just feel like we've got some potential here. He's a good-looking guy.
Okay. All right. My next top 4 person, I'm taking your first impression rose guy, Nate. I've got Nate down, humble and hardworking, the electrical engineer from Chicago. He's the one that likes How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, the movie. Okay, that's fine. So anyway, I think Nate might be there in the end.
Okay. I'm taking someone we both like, Eric, 29-year-old real estate analyst from Bedminster, New Jersey. He was like low-key, funny, outdoorsy, and a bit mysterious with a fun side.
Okay. Well, I've got Eric too. I've got Eric in my top 4 as well, and so that's my next. I agree with you. I like Eric, and I fear that we might have another one matching up here with my last one as well.
Is it Zach?
It's Zach. I got Zach.
Yep, I've got Zach too, 25-year-old tech exec from Anaheim Hills that doesn't agree with eggs.
But he's a handsome guy, and I like the old-fashioned romantic. So I thought that I think Zach might be there, despite the fact that he wants to be Spider-Man.
My last pick is Tino, the 27-year-old general contractor from Playa del Rey, California, who reads the Wall Street Journal. I get good vibes from him, seeing a lot of potential.
Okay. All right. Well, now we're going to pick winners, right?
Yep. Who's your Gabby winner? My
Gabby winner is Eric. I'm going with Eric.
My Gabby winner is also Eric.
Okay. And my Rachel winner is Zach.
Ooh, okay. I didn't pick Zach, so we have a little bit of difference there. My Rachel winner is Avon. I don't know why. It's all gut. Maybe it's because he likes Yahtzee and he's intense. I think it's because he likes to travel, values quality time. Like, I see Rachel liking him.
You were like ridiculing him for liking Yahtzee. Now you're going to say he ends up with poor Rachel?
I like to ridicule guys that I like. At least he's not his own favorite author writing about volleyball in Hawaii.
Well, yeah, those are some strange books. But maybe for maybe they'll be for Chris. They'll go up the Amazon sales list because now he's on Bachelor. Maybe he'll be selling some books if nothing else.
Maybe he will. I don't see the Bachelor fan base being interested in either of those books, but it's a possibility.
Okay. So the show starts next Monday.
Monday, the
July
11th.
11th. And do we think that we're going to, it seems like last year, did we even get through the first night in the first show, or did they break it into 2 shows?
No, you always get through the first night. You got that rose ceremony in the morning with the sunlight coming through. We'll get through it.
Somebody's going to get overserved and make a fool of themselves.
We can only hope.
All right. And we don't know much more than that at this point in time. And,
No.
and we don't even know how we have 2 ladies both giving out a certain number of roses, we assume.
We have no idea.
Well, that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that, hey.
Or they have to agree on who to send home.
So that we're starting with 32. How many do we think get sent home the first night?
Probably like 6 or 7.
Okay. I was hoping at least 8, but okay.
Well, that's all we've got. So we'd like to thank The Mesh for hosting our podcast. If you like what you're hearing, feel free to give us a 5-star rating and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And join us next time as we discuss the first episode of Gabby and Rachel's season from the right perspective and my dad.